next session is called Startup Stories, and it's about stories. The session is dedicated to exploring the captivating stories of startups operating in both sectors of innovation, technology, and of course, music. You will discover inspiring success stories, triumph, learn about challenges overcome, troubles, and receive practical advice to navigate and transform their own journeys. Transformative tips. So it's TTT. Got it? Yeah, it's my invention. It's a good one. Woohoo! Now, founders and leaders of startups will share their personal experience, providing valuable insight into the heights and lows of entrepreneurship in this sector. The first startup to share his experience, let me check. It's Robin Champseix from France with Billy.
Hi guys. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm the CEO of Billy. It's a young startup we created like 2 years ago. We are creating an event commerce platform to help event creators, artists, better grow and engage their communities. So I think the biggest success we've had so far is navigating throughout the industry, because we are not coming from the music industry or the experience industry. I'm a tech guy, but I'm a music fan. And with my co-founder, we started like just based on the will to work in the entertainment industry. And navigating, trying to innovate in the space, actually some discussion led us to management, to artists, to majors, and so on. And we noticed that there was a huge gap in the industry, because artists and majors and labels that want to sell bundles. For instance, when you're an artist and you launch your new album, you create your tour, and sometimes you want to create more than and to sell more than tickets for events. So it's the ability to sell merch, phonographics, records, and so on, alongside with your tickets for your super fans that are coming to your events. And the cool thing is, on the first tour we did with Ric, which is a rap artist, we had like 39% of people that bought a bundle. So it means that, for 100 tickets sold, there was 39 people that bought a bundle, which made a big upsells for artists, and it was a good way, to involve labels, to involve management, to involve the majors and the D2C partners, alongside with the event producers, to create a solution that aligns the interest of everyone, and in the end, that is a great thing for the artist. Regarding the failure, as I told you, we are a startup, so we are still iterating on the market with just the will to create something new and something different. We pivoted twice. It's always tough, the founder to pivot, but you have to be okay and to accept to kill an idea, even if it's kind of hard sometimes, because you put energy and so on. And when you are creating your company, it's all about the branding and the approach that you try to have. So, but in the end, that's what brought us closer to artists, festivals, and so on. And now that we are creating this, what we call event shop, we mix the code of e-commerce and ticketing to create an event commerce platform. That's what we created with Bundle. Regarding the tips, actually, I don't have any tips for you guys, but I will just share my personal learnings along the journey. Of course, we did so many errors, but one of the biggest one was to hire. Is to hire specialists, like experts in the fields. While when you are building your company, you need generalists, people that are able to perform various range of tasks. A good thing, I've always heard that it's important to have velocity and to have a quick go-to-market and to iterate and so on, and to launch a product even if you are not proud of your product. But I challenge that, and I think for certain industry, for us, we were working with Universal, with Sony, with Believe, which are big majors. Yeah, sorry. It's very important to have a perfect experience for those kind of actors. So you have to be proud of the products that you launch. And that's me. That's it for me, because time's up. Thanks.
Robin. Just remember, it's a 3-minute pitch. Thanks for respecting that because we have a journey until Les Ardentes. So the next one is Tom Fritz from Germany, with Jymmin. Il l'a pas rendu, hein? Le clicker. Everything is good.
Is this the microphone? Oh, that's the microphone. So what you see is our little intervention that we do regularly in the clinic, but we also want to break the sports. So the music directly corresponds to the amount of your movement. It's actually a modern technology to get high with music super efficiently. And we do it at the Max Planck Institute with our patients. But we're also bringing it into the fitness market now if everything works out. So I do nothing and the music also goes down, and I do a lot and the music does a lot. But before I go too deep into this, let me try this thing out. So what was our greatest triumph? And our greatest triumph was a scientific triumph that kicked the whole thing off. So I came back from the music ethnological field experience. I made some scientific experiments in the lab, how we could transfer this to what we all know here, and where you don't have to put a doctor next to it. And then we published it, and we brought it to the paper front side of the New York Times, among many others. And we got a huge feedback from the sports market saying, hey, let's try this out. How can you make this available? And that was a bit of a longer journey, I have to say. And that also directly leads me to what actually happened and what was the downside, because I underestimated the whole procedure. Yeah, I thought, oh, wow. So this was a nice success. Let's just scale everything up. Let's just give everyone more responsibility in the lab. Let's make the technicians that help to make all these experimental setups into, you know, technical leads and whatnot. And that almost drove us against the wall, and I was, you know, not even really at the steering wheel, so I'm not really proud of that. But at that time, and that's where the two lines are, I had to reinvent everything again with a really professional team and someone who's been in business for 30 years, who actually, whom I met and who was an angel investor, saying, hey, I'm actually interested in this, you know, that I'm also investing. And I told him, you know what, at the moment we're really looking for the right CEO for this thing. Maybe this is something that you would consider. And he did, and he came on board and he helped me rebuild this whole endeavor. And yeah, so, but that also leads me to what actually went wrong, because I think what went wrong is expectation management. Yeah? And I think, so I didn't do this before, so we were all doing this for the first time. And what, for example, Alf Arnold, who is now my co-founder, introduced into the company and this rebuilding the team is expectation management. And I have to say, wow. And for this, you need experience. And I say here, experience helps. And while I mean, to everyone else who is thinking about going from science into business, I have to say, yeah, it is quite a trip, yeah. It has been for me at least, but it's certainly very, very addictive. And I would not want to be without it. Yeah, and I thank you very much for your attention. And if you're interested in you know, contacting or cooperating, I'd love to. So, thanks.
Thanks, Tom. The next one, please, is Gimme Radio with Tyler Lenane.
Look at that. Hey guys, how's it going? Let me see, make this short. Am I supposed to start this? Oh, there we go. All right, how many people here know what Gimme Radio was? A couple people? Okay, well, it was an app. It was actually two apps, right? One focused on metal and one focused on country music, or actually alternative country Americana. We had an interactive platform where artists would come and their fans would come and they would chat real time. The artists would host programming. We had a digital subscription. We had a vinyl record of the month club. We had an e-commerce platform. We had artists, independent small artists, making $40,000 a year from their fans directly on the platform. We had all of these things, but what Gimme really was a community, right? And that was a community of almost 500,000 people, 125,000 of them every single month coming on the platform, spending over $100,000 on things on Gimme. And just to give you an idea, when we shut down Gimme last April, because we did shut it down, and that's part of this trouble story, here's what some of these fans, these community members had to say. I'll just give you an example. The best place I've ever been on the internet and the best community I've ever been part of, not just on the internet, but anywhere. Here's another one. I had a lot of health problems this year, and I couldn't do a lot. I felt so connected to the artists and my fellow fans through the chat when I didn't feel that way with people in my own life. I found so much new music, even new genres I had no idea existed. I learned of tours, bought merch, and was kept company during my 7 heart surgeries. We got thousands of those types of emails on the last day, and we had over 15 million comments from fans over the course of Gimme Radio's 6 years. So what happened? We clearly had product market fit. The industry supported us. We had over 1,600 artists on the platform hosting programming. My $7 million I invested, the lion's share came from industry people like Sony, Concord, iHeartMedia. Yes, we had that as well. What happened is we built a company that, at the end of the day, was dependent upon growth, which required higher and higher levels of financing at higher and higher levels of valuation. I built a company that was not VC investable. What I didn't have was product investor fit. All of my investors were strategics. Strategics don't follow on every time you need to raise capital. I was in a position where I needed to raise a sizable Series A and had to go to investors that were never, ever going to invest in Gimme Radio. And we can talk more about why in detail, but ultimately, what did we learn from this? And what I would say to most startups out there is build a business with positive unit economics that can be an actual real business. Get to revenue quickly. When I shut down Gimme, we had 8 full-time employees, and we were on track to do $3 million in revenue. That's a real business, but it's not a business that might be VC investable. So, future. What do we learn from this? I think it's a bright future for startups, right? I think we live in a different world where it's not just about growth, right? Those metrics have changed slightly, right? And I think that it's in some ways easier, right? Dev costs have come down, engineering costs have come down. A lot of the things that you used to have to build natively on your platforms are now software as a service type, monthly types of things that you can buy or subscribe to. You know, it's music, right? I mean, hip hop did not evolve or get created because Andreessen Horowitz backed it, right? Punk rock was not invented on Sand Hill Road in Palo Alto. We've got to find investors that understand music and have a different level of expectation of what success and a successful outcome is. It's not just about the billion-dollar exit. Kevin, what was his name, who wrote 1,000 True Fans? Kevin Kline? Yeah, he wrote that in 2008, 16 years ago, right? And we're only just starting to enter a world where you can actually build a business for those 1,000 fans that will be sustainable. And I think we should. And so if you want to hear more about what I've gone through with my startup or what I think the future looks like, send me an email or come find me, and it's what I talk about all day. So.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you. Pierre, from Marseille, are you ready for a 3-minute pitch?
Yes. Well, I was thinking it was more story than a pitch, but. Who's this one? Ooh. So I'm with MusicTomorrow. I'm really happy to be here with you guys. What we do is we help you get your artist more discoverable on Spotify, on streaming platforms. And the way we do that is quite technical. We reverse engineer Spotify recommender system. So when you say that, people get scared and they don't always understand what you mean. And that was a challenge we had to face at the beginning. Basically, we knew that we had something that was very precious, very actionable for labels. But the hard part was, how can you explain that? And how can you structure your offer in order to make your services understandable for your potential clients? And that wasn't easy at all. And you start talking about clusters. What are those? And nobody understands where you're heading. And that's quite hard. I had to fight quite hard to basically be able to get in touch with the labels and get them to look at what we were doing. And at first, it wasn't about selling, right? It was making sense of what we could do and how we could adapt that to make like a real market fit. And we managed to do that. We got on UMG Connect, which is a mentoring program of Universal Music. So they take 3 startups every year. And basically, it was a huge opportunity for us because we could basically explain what we were doing to pretty much all their execs from the labels and territories. And so we had a lot of advice, and that was amazing because we changed basically lots of our things. So it ended by basically pitching to 150 of them in New York, explaining what we were doing. It led to 15 direct connection with labels and territories, which was amazing as well. And it got us to reorganize our whole offering, approaching that from user cases and stop talking about clusters and reverse engineering or those horrible things. And we thought it was all right, and we were on the path for success. And then, other issues showed up. I'm just talking about this one, but there were many other like those. So we were talking to Maven Records, and we were trying to explain that. And basically, we do a lot of the demos, from, computers, and we work on Visio. And so what happened is basically that we started encountering huge issues with the service. It didn't work. Not that, the data itself wasn't working. It's just that the connection wasn't working anymore. And then when it was back, the data was wrong. And we had some issues like that. Scalability issues, right? Because when we were the only ones using our service, that was all right. And when people came in, we had to face those issues. Fortunately, we managed to do that as well. But those were the trouble. So what I've learned about that is basically we managed to get out of that explanation issue by asking for advice, not trying to sell, but trying to explain and train the people we were trying to help to, that technical approach, which is not very easy to understand. We also offered education because we released like online trainings to help them, get on board. And basically it paid because we didn't want to sell directly, and we are selling now. So at the end of the day, it ended well. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Pierre. The next one is Steve Rimmer, the previous winner of the selection of Startup 2024. Steve, welcome. Tickets for Good.
Thank you very much. Hello, is everyone welcome? Ready for some more presentation slides? Yay, yay, we're still going. Hi, I'm Steve Rimmer, the founder and CEO of Tickets for Good. Really excited to be here. And I'm actually going to have to change my second slide because, of course, the best situation that happened to me was winning Walifornia 2023. Yay! Yes. Which was a beautiful and lovely surprise. I was really, really pleased, and it was so great to see how a mixture of startup work, also connecting with social impact, could really help with that. Oh, I need the thing. Thank you. So, as I mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of Tickets for Good. We're a ticketing platform. However, we're not a ticketing retailer. We partner with the retailers to add value to their clients, the rights owners of the tickets. We help them to give free tickets and heavily discounted tickets to healthcare workers, also charity workers and people on lower incomes. One of the biggest triumphs, I was trying to think about it, one of the big triumphs that we had, which came out of nowhere really, was an introduction, a similar event like this, but a bit smaller, to an amazing individual called Stephen O'Reilly, who works with Robbie Williams. And Stephen really saw what we did as an amazing project, and he invested into us through IE Ventures. And then he said, would you be interested in Robbie being involved? And I said, yes, please. And so that entered us into a journey which, over a good amount of time, really resulted in Robbie Williams becoming our largest investor. And that really took us to the next level in terms of the industry, but also opened up so many doors. So I think that was definitely our biggest business success over the years. And I was lucky enough to meet Robbie backstage in Berlin. But one of the most difficult parts that we found was back in the days of COVID. We actually set up the company and incorporated to join the Bethnal Green Ventures Tech for Good accelerator program back in 2019. Everything was great. We had a small amount of investment. We were going out to launch what was then called the Ticket Bank, like a food bank for tickets. In March, later that year, we went out to launch in March of 2020, which was obviously awful timing for everything in the events industry, but in a funny way, it helped us to reposition and repivot. And we changed our focus from being tickets for charity workers to focusing on healthcare workers. We rebranded as Tickets for Good for NHS workers in the UK, relaunched in spring of 2021, and here we are. So in a strange way, we managed to benefit from what was a really incredibly challenging time. So thinking about the tips from being a startup founder, really all I can say is the only thing you can focus on is doing the work. And it seems so simple, but just getting up every day, and it does take a lot of work. You're working evenings, working weekends, and just doing the work constantly is putting that time in is something that I've found. But the other thing that I've learned over the years is that your health is your wealth, and the only thing you can do is do your best to try and be healthy at the same time, keeping fit, eating well, doing whatever you can to make sure you have the energy to put the hours in and do what you need to do to make it work. So that's me. I'm Steve Rimmer, the founder and CEO of Tickets for Good. Would love to connect, and please look up Tickets for Good online. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Steve. The next one is Ric Salmon with Driift.
Thanks, Coralie. Thanks, Jerome. So I'll try and be brief. I feel like a bit of an imposter, if I'm completely honest, because whilst I am the CEO and founder of a tech startup, I suppose, well, let's get that horrible photo of me off. I'm really, as I said, a bit of an imposter. I'm not really a tech entrepreneur. We were forced into it at the beginning of COVID, so I'm a partner, a shareholder at a company called ATC. So we're a group of companies. We actually went public a couple of years ago. We have a management business that looks after about 100 artists, Radiohead, Nick Cave, PJ Harvey, Faithless, people like that. A live agency that looks after about 500 bands, and then a merch business that looks after about 300. So we have about 1,000 clients across the group. given that responsibility and those number of artists, when COVID hit, it was a bit of a shocker. It kind of killed our business like many of us. And so we were sat there one afternoon, first weekend of lockdown, thinking what we were going to do with our company. And Brian, my partner, and I said to ourselves, well, why don't we try and do some online events? Long story short, first 12 months we turned over £12 million in revenue, actually turned a profit, which for a tech business in music is quite astonishing, and have sold nearly 1 million tickets. In fact, those 1 million tickets were sold in about the first 2 years. So it was an amazing journey. One of your panelists earlier said that live streaming has been around for a long time. It has, 12, 13 years. Weirdly, though, we were the first company, I think, which is an odd thing to say, we were the first company ever to do a ticketed live stream, live, a la carte tickets from a venue with no audience, which was a very strange thing to be doing. But anyway, it kind of coined a corner of the market. We had a huge success. We had a lot of awards and various others. It changed very quickly, if I'm honest. Whilst we were a tech platform in theory, we were really producers and promoters of events. We weren't really a tech platform. We nicked people's tech, we borrowed it, we Jimmy rigged it together. First couple of events, believe it or not, I think it's probably illegal, but we actually just put the shows out on YouTube, unlisted links, hoping that no one would realize you could just send the links around to your friends. But eventually realized after we had a couple of major issues, including one with a very high-profile tech fuck-up when we live-streamed Glastonbury, we realized that we couldn't rely on other people's technologies. We had to own and control the tech stack. So long story short, we went through a number of rounds of investors, raised about 7 or 8 million pounds, bought a few other tech companies and merged them into ours. Long story short, that's what we've been doing for the last couple of years. But the reality is, it's brutal. It's been the hardest 4 years of my life, the most incredible learning curve. This is a proverb that you've probably seen before, and it absolutely rings true. Your failures are the greatest thing that you could ever be given, to be honest with you, because you learn from every single one of them, and you get up the next day, and you're a better person for it. So it's been a journey. We're still running the platform. We're still fairly well funded. We're really running it as a service alongside the rest of the group now for when our artists do want to do an event, and it works. Whether or not it's a standalone business going forward, jury's still out on that one. I won't go into that because I've definitely run out my 3 minutes, but there's a lot of things I could be saying. We'd be happy to over a beer at the gig. Cheers, guys.
It's easier. You speak very quickly. Thank you, Ric. The next one is a Belgian guy invested by Lean Square, Olivier Schuster, with Beatsurfing.
Thank you. It doesn't show? Oh, here you go. So, I'm Olivier. I'm part of Beatsurfing. It's a Belgium startup. And, I'm going back to... Too fast, yeah. There you go. So we are actually building a new technology that will bring performance back into the digital music process. But we will talk about that probably next year in the next California as we're working on it, and we don't talk too much about it right now. But our success right now, because that's why we are here today. There we go. As a reborn company, and you will see after, we had some milestones that we wanted to achieve when we were actually raising our pre-seed round. We raised 1.2 million. It was to actually have validation of our vision and product by different type of people. I mean artists, our end users, the industry, and that's why I really like the talk of Vicky yesterday, because she was saying that product market fit is not enough. You need to have other levels. So industry, as we had Romain Pouillon, which was SVP of Beatport, and Matt Pilling, that is now CEO of Rhodes, and actually the founders of Rootmaster Plugin Boutique. So they all invested in our company as artists. Well, maybe if you are French speaking, you know Orelsan. Faz is one of his producers, and we also have FKI First, which is an American producer from LA that was actually one of the first to invest in the company. And we also have VCs with the factory, Lean Square, of course, that hosts us today. So it was very important for us to cross actually all those boxes. And afterwards, when we got out with some projects because we are playing right now. What we're doing is not our actual product. We're learning the way to distribute our next product. Well, we got lucky because you probably know Andrew Wang. I don't know if we got lucky or if we have good products, but 2 of our products finished in his top 10 last year. Well, thank you. So Random finished 2nd and Beat 7 the Listeners finished 6th place after only a few months of being launched. And we were nominated Best Innovative Plugin on Plugin Boutique with the Random. So for early stage startup, it's we were quite happy about that. Troubles, well, don't rely on one third party to promote your product. We got banned from Facebook from one day to another without any notice. And well, that was a huge drop for us in our sales, of course, because we were relying on them. Until this day, we still don't know what happened, and they don't want to tell us. They just say, don't do what you have done. But what do we have done wrong, we still don't know. And if I had an advice to give, even though I think we are still quite young to give advices to anybody at the moment, well, it would be make it with passion and be resilient. As you can see, well, the journey started in 2002 with our co-founders, which are the Hermut Lobby, and they were already producing tools for digital artists. And we made Playground in 2015, and we had also award from that. We were Best of App Store awards. We were installed in all the App Store in the world. And then we are reborn with Beatsurfing. And well, the beginning is starting well, so be resilient and keep on doing what you do. Thank you. Yeah, and if you want to contact after, don't hesitate, and there are all the links to the website, all the social networks, and so on. Thanks.
Thanks, Olivier. The next one is Beam for Music with Thomas Zandrowicz. I'm not sure about the pronunciation. Correct me.
Thank you. Hi guys, nice to meet you. So I'm the founder of Beam for Music. So what we do is we construct an application that tells you where your music is played and how much you're supposed to get from it. So for the time being, we only operate in France, but we have plans for the futures to go abroad. So regarding our success, so we've secured over 30 clients, including the 3 major music publishers. We're a team of 13 people, and the good news is that we're almost break-even. And we developed a robust algorithm that reconciliates publishing and producer data into a unified platform. So that makes an echo from the previous panel regarding the data and metadata. And we were awarded first place from the Centre National Music of France, and we were selected at Vivatech 2024. So regarding the trouble, well, the main trouble we had was the data fragmentation. We work on the algorithm that reconciliate the data for the 2 past years, and it has been a struggle because you need to test over and over. And you know, with the team of the developers, it's really been a struggle because, as you all know, the music industry is probably one of the most complicated industry, and when it comes to the publishing part, it's worst. So yeah, that has been a really, really difficult things for us, but at the end, we've managed to have a strong algorithm that works. Regarding the tips, well, we don't have really tips to tell you because we're really young, but from our point of view, discretion is key for the beginning, because we've known several entrepreneurs that, you know, like promote their products where the product is not finished, and as you know, you're only one time the new kids in town, so you have to be sure about your product. So first be discreet and then go to the market. Also, simplicity wins. You always have to be really simple in the speech and the things that you do. Then again, the music industry is so complicated, so you need to, you know, to find a way to explain things in a simple way. And my last advice would be the team. The team is really important, so you have to be with people that you trust, that are passionate, and yeah, passionate and love the work that they do. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Thomas. The next one from France also, Alexis Zbik. You were on stage yesterday. We enjoyed that.
Thank you. Okay. Who has that thing? Okay. So hello, I'm Alexis from the north of France. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Bleass. What is Bleass? Bleass is a company who makes audio plugins, such as audio effects, synthesizers, and MIDI tools. And it has been created 6 years ago. So I will start with the trouble, because I think, how does it work? Which button is, oh. I will start with the trouble. Actually, we didn't start by making plugins, audio plugins. We start with an app for iOS called Bleass, and we after renamed it Bleass Groovebox. It was what we call a Groovebox. It's a multi-track application to make music, drum machines with bass lines, some melodies. So it's very easy to take it in your pocket and make music on the street, in the subway, etc. It was also dedicated to make live music, so with big buttons and everything. But we worked on this application for 3 years. We spent a lot of time on it, and we didn't pay us any salaries. And when we launched it, it was a total mess, because we chose to make subscriptions, and the price was too high, and the people didn't like it at all. So we decided, okay, we started a company, and our first product is a total shit. So, but it's actually a good Groovebox, but the model was not good. So after that, we decided to pivot to make a new kind of offer, and we started to make audio plugins for iOS first, and after we made these plugins available for desktop. And our first plugins, we spent 3 weeks developing the product, and when we released it, we sold 400 Unity on 1 day. So it was, okay, it's a good sign, maybe it's the best way to do it. So after that, we released a lot of plugins. Today we have 27 plugins in 6 years, which is not bad. And our latest is a Bleass Arpeggiator, with a top seller, is well rated also on some press, and some influencers talked about it on a lot of YouTube videos. And we did this plugins collaboration with an artist, Can Blaster, which is an electronic artist in France, who is very more and more famous, and it adds us some credibility to what we call the producer of music, the people who create music with computers. We also worked with Jordan Rudess, which is a keyboardist of Dream Theater, and of course our godfather of electronic music in France, Jean-Michel Jarre. We made the app Eon for him. It's an infinite album in the form of an iOS app. So, some advice. Whoop. Yes. No, sorry. This is very subjective, but yeah, teamwork is the key, as my predecessors say. Trust people who you work with, and when it's your project, it's your baby, so at first you don't want people to mess with your stuff, but really when you learn to let people work with you, it's very cool. It's not because something already exists in the market that you can try to make your own version of it. When we start to make plugins, we were thinking, okay, there is a lot of plugins. Why people are gonna buy our plugins? Actually, we add some features on it. We had a nice UI, a nice UX. So you will always find something to add in your own product that make it unique. Don't listen to people who talks only about the success. I think you will learn a lot about people who failed. I think that's the most important thing that I learned as somebody who makes a company. I learn a lot about my mistakes, and I think it's the most important thing. Do something you love, of course. It's music tech. You do music. I think if you are music tech, it's because you love music. So it's cool. We do something we love. And sometimes you're wrong, but it's okay. Don't deal with it. I think if somebody proves you wrong, you just say, okay, I'm wrong. So, okay, have a good day. So, thank you. I wanted to finish with cute pictures because you say you can do any pictures you want in the last slide. So, it's a cute picture. So, have a great day. And thank you for this amazing event.